Welcome back to another episode of JRC TV. This week we are focused on part 2 of your mental, emotional, physical, spiritual relationship temperature gauge. So, last week we were focused on figuring out where is your current thermometer, thermostat, temperature gauge set at. Meaning in your relationships, in your time management, in your finances, in your health, where is your current comfort zone right now? Hopefully you did the worksheet from last week. If you haven't, go back to our blog, jarekrobbins.com/blog, and look at the previous week's episode and make sure to download that worksheet and get it done so that you understand where we're at this week and you can participate fully. Now, in this week's episode, we're focused on something we generally do as a keynote presentation on the road all over the world for organizations that bring us in to help figure out how to help their team raise their standards, to up their game in whatever focus and business they have inside of that organization or company. Now, if you have an organization, a real estate office, a sales team, if you have an organized team or organization or group, we've worked with all kinds of industries and all kinds of companies. We would love to have the opportunity to work with you. So if you want to have us out, go to jarekrobbins.com/keynote. That has all the information you need to send a request to us to have us out to your company or organization to come and do this training. Now, for a brief overview of the training, there's 4 parts to raising your standards. Now, we go in depth when we're live in an event on these 4 parts, but right now we're going to briefly touch on them, give you a little insight, and then have you take some action, just like we would at a live event. The very first part to raising your standards is you have to identify what thought, what emotional feeling is limiting you or slowing you down or keeping you from taking the action you want. Meaning if your emotional thermostat is set, let's say between 50 to 60 degrees, what is your belief about what 75 degrees would feel like, or 80 degrees, or even 100 degrees would feel like in that thermostat model? Meaning, is it possible for you to have what you desire in your finances, what you desire in your health and fitness, what you desire in your relationship? Think about it. And a simple way to know if there's any limiting beliefs or thoughts or emotions is ask yourself this. Based on what you want to be experiencing, the level you want to be playing at in any of those main categories of life we talked about last week, here's my question to you. Why is it currently not the way you want it to be? Now, if you listen to your gut instinct, your first initial response, you might want to jot that down on today's download, today's worksheet. We put a place that asks the question, why are these key areas of your life currently not where you want them to be? Now, no judgment on whatever reason pops into your head. It can be anything from, I'm just not there yet, to, I don't know what it takes to get there, to, I don't have the time or the money to make that happen, to, I just haven't found the one. I don't know what your story is, but I'll tell you this, the only reason you don't have it right now is the story you keep telling yourself about why you don't have it. Sounds crazy, sounds silly. Learned that from my dad a long time ago, but it's the truth. So once you've identified the story, the limitation, the limiting belief that's slowing you down, step 2 of raising your standards is to make a decision to never, ever, ever, ever allow that belief to ever slow you down again. Now, here's what's interesting. This is my friend Felix, and if you're watching, hopefully some of you know what he did and what he's doing in this photo. He's about to skydive from space. He's over 100,000 feet in the air and he's about to skydive. And I always show this image and ask people, what would it be like to have to make that decision in your life right there? And inevitably people go, it'd be scary, it'd be crazy, it'd be awesome, it'd be fun. But the truth is, this guy right now at this moment in this photograph has no decision to make. He's stuck with what life is giving him the option to do, because really he has no choice. If he stays in the little balloon, he floats to space and dies. If he jumps, he potentially has the opportunity to break a world record, break the sound barrier, fly to Earth, land, and successfully achieve the goal. Or die trying. Here's what's interesting. At this moment, he really has no choice. He can only jump. Because if he doesn't jump, he's certainly to die. Now, here's what's interesting. Most people look at moments like this and think they have a decision to make, when in actuality, life has put them in a position that there is no decision. They're forced to do the option that's sitting in front of them. The real decision this gentleman made was 5 years previous, when he sat down and decided he was going to make this happen. Then he put in all the work, all the time, all the effort, all the energy for the last 5 years up into this moment to make this moment happen, where he then got to experience the result of his decision he made 5 years ago, which was, breaking the world record, breaking the sound barrier, setting a new level of experience of what's possible in life and space. So here's the next piece I'm going to ask you to do is, what decision can you make today that will guarantee in the next 3, 4, 5 years of your life, you can have the opportunity to no longer ever allow that old limiting story you've used in the past to ever slow you down again? What decision can you make today to cut off any other option of slowing you down and really prove to yourself that you're going to make this raising your standard piece happen in your life once and for all, and you're going to actually follow through, which is step 3, which is about true commitment. Now, there's a beautiful video here online. If you Google John Wooden love letters and watch this, as a matter of fact, pause our video right now. You might want to go check it out. But watch this, and it'll just light your soul on fire in all the right ways. Me talking about commitment, I'm a 30-year-old young guy who just got married last September. But the truth is, I think I'm young to be preaching to the world about commitment. So I always look to someone who has much more experience, much more life they've lived to teach us what this is all about. And John Wooden is one of the greatest examples. He's a man who was truly committed and followed through on his commitments in life. So make sure to watch that John Wooden love letter video just to feel what a real man with true commitment is all about. Now, after you've watched that video, I want you to answer the question in today's worksheet, which is, what can you do to prove that you are 100,000% committed to making this change happen once and for all, right now and forever? What can you do to prove to yourself, a physical, mental, emotional action or commitment you can do to prove that you are 100% committed to following through with getting rid of that old limiting belief and following through to raise your standards once and for all? Now, the final piece, step number 4, is what small action can you take immediately right now? Meaning you write it down and then you physically go do it to prove to your nervous system that this is real. You're not going to settle for anything less than what you know you're capable of, and you're going to go make it happen today. So one small action, and then on the worksheet it says, what's one big action that you can make to prove to yourself that this is real? So last week we discovered where our temperature gauge is at. This week we've decided to raise our standards in whatever core area of life you want to focus on, whatever major area of life you've decided to raise your standard in. So 4 parts. First, figure out what story or limiting thought or belief has ever held you back in the past. Second part, make a decision to never allow that to slow you down ever again in your life. Third, make a firm commitment and write down what it takes to be 100% truly committed to following through and never letting it slow you down. Fourth, write down one small action and one big action you can take immediately to prove to yourself that you're going to get momentum on your side and raise your standards in these areas once and for all. Have fun with this workshop. Enjoy the process. Please share with us on the blog, share with us on Facebook, and comment what was your experience once you made this decision, once you took that action. What was your experience? What happened for you? For many people, this little workshop, this little thought process makes a huge shift in their psychology. Now, it's obviously a lot better live. So if you have a company or organization you want us to come and do an hour keynote on this topic and really rock your emotional world in your office and reset your team's temperature gauge, remember to go to JarekRobbins.com/keynote. Have us out at your office or company. We'd love to come and work with you. Now, everyone else, have fun, download the worksheet, do the exercises, enjoy it, and make sure to pay this video forward to someone else you think might need a wake-up call to raise their standards in life. So, have fun with this week's episode, and we look forward to seeing you next week for another episode of JRC TV. Till then, have an amazing week. Bye.